iHeartRadio. Black excellence.
We had to talk about Dr. Dre because of what happened yesterday, so I brought this. This is the first NWA. This is before the studio album. This is the first album before the album.
Wow.
And you got a white label.
Yeah. So
Yes.
I gotta take a look at that.
you see a young Dre right here. This is NWA and the Posse. When you see the whole West Coast crew. When you see this, like, how do you feel?
You know what? I'll be completely honest with you. This makes me feel as if I need to go do like a little more research, because coming up on the East Coast, growing up in Toronto, it was, like we just said with the Biggie era, it was like, you know, this came out 87. I was born in 87. So for me to just pretend that I was ultimately or super familiar with NWA would be just a lie on camera, and I don't want to.
But you know of
Dr.
WBA
Dre,
since.
Dr. Dre and Snoop were more who I came up on, and I would just say this: I think the Chronic 2001 is the greatest hip hop album of all time. And the funny part is, as much as I say I'm an East Coast guy, and I'm like, yo, Big's my man.
Yeah.
When it comes down to hip hop albums, I go Chronic 2001, greatest of all time. When it comes to hip hop songs, I go California Love.
That's a big.
And when you look at it, and when you think about it, it's like, hold on a second, California Love, the beat, the song, just the way everything melded together, the video even at the time, like, it was just crazy. Which was why, you know, last night I was watching that award showcase. I'm like, there's definitely a LA bias with the Grammys.
A little bit, right?
You know
like,
I mean?
You're giving Dre the namesake of the award, which is, you know.
But you know, and he's got a colorful past, which I'm sure people are gonna bring up.
There's a lot of big talk about that right now.
I knew it as soon as I saw it. I was like, they gotta honor this guy because of X, Y, and Z, and you knew it was coming.
Sure.
But I mean, if you're just looking at the cultural impact, like, look at where this is, look at where it started. And this is on a different coast. Like, New York is the mecca of hip hop. This is somewhere else, completely different. Yeah. And look at where it started. Look where it became. Like, this guy's billionaire. Like, you know, any artist would love the opportunity to work with Dr. Dre. Let's be honest.
Leah.
Okay.
Young head.
Yeah.
When you see these cats on an album cover, what do you think?
I think the beginning. I think that these guys created something. Okay. Like you said, West Coast. They took it somewhere else. And also, not only that, the reason for why they came about was for a message. It wasn't to just make money, although that was a great, like, you know, consequence. But no, it was to make a message. I'm just so enthused. So yeah, the message that they stood for, there was a reason for why they were talking out. I mean, their name alone, and like, you know, the titles of their songs, it's like, it's saying this is how we feel. We don't know. I'm not gonna say the names. I don't need to. We all know what it represents. But the reason for why they were saying, they're stating something. They're letting you know this is how it is on the streets for us. You know, and a lot of people don't understand what we have to go through and how we feel, because nobody's asking us how we feel. We're just getting arrested,
or they just don't even care.
They don't even care.
But clearly, people do care, because look how well they did. Look how well this album did, or how they became.
You know what? Look at that.
Crazy.
You know what? It makes me think, because what you're saying, Leah, is true, and it makes me think of strength in numbers, right? And without the message, you can't make change unless you have a movement. And I very much feel like while they were probably at the start just having fun and just experimenting and trying it because they were just exposed to hip hop and it was something cool to do. Like, when you talk about cultural impact, it'd probably be, I mean, NWA, Public Enemy.
Oh, yes.
Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
They're like the equivalent on each side of the country in terms of America.
Yes, it's spread.
And they're definitely speaking a truth that maybe people just have no idea about.
A lot of people didn't. You know, black people in general have a completely different life than a lot of people know about or used to. Even me, as a black girl growing up in Richmond Hill, you know, in the GTA, I didn't know how it was out here for these young men. I didn't know how it was, and now I'm aware.
What's crazy to me is that, like, you know, you had people really fighting against this music. Like, why don't you sing something more positive? Look where these cats come from, man. Like,
there's nothing positive.
They're talking about what's around them.
These dudes cannot sing about like Margaritaville, Jimmy Buffett type stuff. Like, that's not going to happen.
Take a look at that image, right? Like, if you were to pick something positive out of that image, right?
Yeah.
What would it be?
Unity.
Unity would be the positive.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay, but I mean something
they're
physical
together.
and tangible.
I mean-
like maybe the clock works.
But that's the beautiful thing about
You know?
Nice Jerry curls.
the Jerry curls are dope. The kicks are dope. But the beautiful thing about black folks, which we prove over and over again, is that we take negative things and we turn them into positives because we have to. Like we have to. These dudes created. When you look at Biggie's and the Cool Hercs, of course, I don't know why Cool Herc wasn't there yesterday, but like when you look
Good
at
point.
people who take negatives and turn them into positives,
Resilience, man.
and then turn something that most people don't rate, like graffiti
Yeah.
and baggy clothes,
Yeah.
and turn it
It's
into
art, though, like,
a
a
billion-dollar industry.
There you go.
I mean, that is something that everyone
remarkable.
everyone should learn from that.
Well, nah, hip hop makes stuff cool.
Yeah.
It is the barometer of cool.
No doubt.
Like nothing happens without hip hop.
And this
in
is
terms
the
of
start
fashion.
of hip hop. They didn't
Right.
know that this was going to be cool. They're
Like,
just
I'll even
telling
them,
us
like,
how
look
it
at
is.
the clothes that they're wearing. Those clothes were not designed for them.
No.
You know what I mean?
It wasn't
like,
designed for them,
it's
like-
a bunch of Guess clothes and Paco jeans
Yeah.
and Hilfigers. That
And they
was a
made
big
it their
thing.
own.
Remember Hilfiger in the 90s?
Lacoste
Like,
shirts.
what is going on? I never
True.
made my clothes to
Kangol
look like
hats.
this.
And
kind
every
of
time
thing.
brothers touched it, they were like, all right, we don't want y'all wearing
Yeah,
our clothes.
yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
the Adidas tracksuit I'm wearing right now was made cool by Run DMC.
Yeah,
It's
who was
just
Very
there
good
last
point.
night? And that was, going back to the tribute, it was almost a little tragic because, like, the earlier performers, they didn't have the mics quite right. It was like, oh,
wasn't
and
getting it right.
it was like
They
they were
didn't.
hitting them over the head early, like Run DMC, man. That was, Anyways, let's talk about this award though, this Dr. Dre award, because immediately what I thought was this. I'm like, while it's great that he's the recipient of his own award, what does this mean for next year? Who gets that award? Do they televise the award?
Well, they said the award is for somebody who pushes the culture forward. That's what it is. It's an award for someone who makes the culture, who pushes the culture forward,
Expands
the culture.
Transcends.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting who they give that award to. I wonder what's going to happen when somebody who might be, having a platform about domestic violence and things like that gets offered the award in his name.
Oh, so you see, okay.
You understand?
Yeah, because, this is where the tension is coming from.
This is where the tension's coming
Because
from.
he, like we said, he has a colorful past.
Yeah.
I'm not here to judge nobody.
Yeah, I'm not
It's-
judging. I'm
and
just
it's- and
commentating.
it's his personal
that
life.
there is a discussion about what he's done in his personal life,
And
in
it's
his
not a secret
relationships.
either. Like, people
Yeah.
know it was in the movie. If you
Yeah.
So I guess the discussion is like, should we be, championing a figure like this?
It always goes back to that topic. Can you separate the artistry from the artist?
From the artist.
Me
right?
personally,
But it seems like people pick and choose when it comes to that,
I
right?
think that's true.
That
I think
happens
that's
a lot.
true. I
We're
think that's true.
biased, right?
For
There's
sure.
certain artists that we want to hold on to,
I know.
even though they're going through difficult times.
And there's certain artists that you'll look really crazy if you don't let go of them. Like if you cling into R. Kelly these days,
Now that's crazy.
you look wild. You know what
Kanye
I'm
West
saying?
is the
Right.
biggest debate right now.
Kanye West.
Well,
That's
we've been talking. Myself and Leah, we've been discussing Kanye for years.
Okay.
And there was a point where I was like, "No, I'm done with him," and she's like, "No, but I gotta." It's Kanye.
I know.
I
Mind
have
you,
to
that
know.
was a while ago.
That was a while ago.
Listen,
It was a long
don't
time. It
put
was like
me
Life
in
of
that.
Pablo.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
It was Life of Pablo.
I was
days.
holding on to him for dear life. Like,
And
I
we
really
had
was
that
for a
talk
while.
at the time.
Yeah.
Up
We were
until
like,
recently,
can you
I had to
how
let my
come-
man go.
Lee was like, how come you can't separate the artist from the artist? Well, I go,
Yes.
if they're a true artist and they're drawing from life, right? Like R. Kelly.
the inspiration.
An example that I don't want to use right now.
Right.
But you can't listen to those songs the same.
It's. I
You
mean,
cannot listen to those songs the
Ain't
same.
nothing but a number. It's like there's.
That's
certain
what I'm
yeah.
saying.
I'm telling you, bro.
You can't listen to those songs the same.
He's a great
because-
example, but sometimes it's not that cut and dry. Sometimes it's not that easy to decipher.
Yeah.
Like example.
Michael Jackson.
Right.
Good one.
Like,
That's the best one
That's
yet.
a tough one for
That's
me.
a tough one.
Not that he was convicted of anything,
Yeah.
but there's definitely a lot of controversy around his name involving his personal life.
Yes.
Now, literally, you can't have Justin Timberlake on stage without thinking about Michael Jackson. You can't have Usher
The
on the
Offsprings
stage.
are just
Janet.
This is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like so,
Yeah.
so it's like it's hard.
It's hard.
That's a
And-
great example.
And
That's
I
the
don't.
best
I
example.
don't even know where
Because
to
we
land.
don't know the truth, and we'll never know the truth.
That's another point. That's
Yeah,
a separate
well,
point.
well, you don't. Yeah, I don't really know what to say about that because I'm such a big Michael Jackson fan.
Right.
But I've had to reckon with there are people that are saying things that are hard to ignore. about
Okay, so
Michael
hold on a
Jackson.
second. I don't know. Like, we work for a radio station that wouldn't necessarily
Sure.
play Michael Jackson.
We play
records.
Michael Jackson.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's
You
what
still-
I was wondering. Okay.
you
you
still
still
Yeah, we
play
play Michael Jackson on our
records.
station. Yeah.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, but when it comes to Dr. Dre, though, I mean, he has the past, and I guess there is controversy over that. You're saying, right?
Yeah.
But yet he still accepted the award.
Well,
he
it's
was-
his award.
It's his award, and it's going to live on under the name
Yes.
of him.
My only thing
So-
is this. I just want to know if they're going to continue to give that award out on screen. Right? Because that's what the Grammys gets knocked for.
Yeah, like
Right?
the reggae
Hiding
awards
it.
happens in the closet under the bed.
Right,
the
yeah,
day
and we
before.
find out
You know what I'm
in the
saying?
Rolling Stone
Like,
magazine.
exactly.
Big up to
right?
Kabaka-
And while
Kabaka
we
Pyramid, by the way.
And while we understand that, you know, it's our community, like Caribbean community, that really looks to that, not necessarily the masses.
Yeah.
At the same time, if you're gonna look, I'm not saying we in reggae or dancehall have an artist as big as Bad Bunny. That's not what I'm saying, because he's out of here, right?
Yeah.
He's
But
global.
it doesn't mean we haven't before.